Heidi-ho, YouTubers. Listen, you watch some videos from doomsday prepper channels, or even if you watch the mainstream news, it's easy to get freaked out about what might happen in the future. And we do have an uncertain future, we know that. But I want to share with you a tool that I've developed, in my head at least, to cope with possible future scenarios, and most importantly, then try to figure out what needs attention and what scenarios I can mitigate for my family, my Mrs. Goat Hollow and I. So I've come up with this little tool, and I have a sheet here for backing because the Sharpie goes through. I was going to call it probabilities and consequences, but consequences are something, you have to suffer the consequences for a decision you made or something you did. So what I've come up with, I'm now calling this probabilities and outcomes. Okay? Outcomes may or may not be something you can do anything about. Alright, so if we make a little chart like this from 1 to 10 and 1 to 10 for probabilities and outcomes, okay? And we could look at different scenarios. Hold on, I'll be right back. Probabilities versus outcomes for a few SHTF scenarios, and I'll let you know right up front. This is something that's very personal for you, okay? Now, let's talk about grid failure. There are several different reasons that the power grid could fail. You could have a cyber attack on the power system. You could have a CME, a coronal mass ejection from the sun. You could have an EMP burst from another country. But let's concentrate on a cyber attack, okay? Now, if the grid goes down for an extended period of time, I think the Pentagon did a study. They said if the grid is out nationwide for 2 years, 90% of Americans, that's fatal for them, okay? They'll be unalived by the end of 2 years. So let's look at a cyber attack. The probability, okay, of a cyber attack happening right now. Now, these are my opinions. You need to do this for what you think. Do your own research, okay? But I know there are terrorist cells, we'll call them, in the U.S. now. They've come in over the open borders in the last 4 years, and they're just waiting for a text on their phone that says, I don't know, some password, Rumpelstiltskin or something, to put them into action, and they could very easily get on their computer and knock out the U.S. power grid. It could happen. I know I think it was in the 80s, a squirrel in like Ohio or somewhere got into a control box, shorted it out, and blew out most of the East Coast and part of Canada for days before they got it all back up. So this is a pretty good probability, and I'm going to say that it's a 7.5 probability. Now, like I said, 2 years without power, and 90% of the country would be unalived, right? So we're going to put this at a 10 and a 7.5, pretty high up here. So now you have to think about how important you think this is for you to try and mitigate, and what steps can you take, and you could list them, For us, Mrs. Goat Hollow and I, the outcome is further down, somewhere maybe a 4. We won't be able to get gasoline. The grocery stores will be gone. We have some food stored up, etc., etc. So, and we're on solar power here at our house. Okay, so let's look at another one. Okay, we'll call this, here's your probabilities and your outcomes. My phone shut off on me. Okay, now recently we watched the movie Civil War, the new one that came out last year. Listen, folks, our country is more divided than I've ever seen it in my life, and I'm an old fart. So, could civil war happen over race or political division or something else? I really think it's highly probable. So we're gonna put this up about again about an 8. Okay. Now the outcome, depending on where you live, depending on what actually happens, etc., could be pretty bad if you're in a big city where they're shooting in the streets. You know, where we live, we're in the middle of nowhere, and not near any military targets. So for us, the outcome could be pretty low. Again, a 4 for us. You have to figure that out for yourself and where you live, etc., etc. Now, you should watch that movie. There are a couple of scenes in it that just blew my mind. Okay. Pay attention to the gas station scene and the what kind of American are you scene. All right, so here's one that's a personal SHTF. I drew that straight, didn't I? Okay, outcome and probability. Okay, we live relatively close. I mean, we're about 100 miles from the Grand Canyon. And the 2 fires at the Grand Canyon are still burning. They're I think they're pretty close to 250,000 acres now. That's a lot. And we had some rain yesterday, which is going to help a lot, but we have had the same fire conditions here as they've had up at the Grand Canyon. And so this is wildfire we're going to look at. For us. And this is a personal SHTF. Now, if you live right down on the river, the Mississippi River, you might be thinking out, excuse me, about a personal SHTF that might be, getting flooded out. Or a lot of the people in western North Carolina got woken up recently with Hurricane, is it Helen or Helene? I don't know how to pronounce it. But for us, this time of year, we're going to go a 6.5 for our location for losing our house and everything we own in our life to a wildfire. The probability is pretty high because, hey, it's been dry, a drought. Okay, so but the outcome, now for us personally, that's a 10, right? Because we've lost everything. I'm not terribly afraid that we could get out with our skins and probably get our doggies and kitties out. My chickens would be gone, and I'm pretty partial to them. So, and we could lose the house. Now, I have to start thinking about what ways can I mitigate this possibility. I can put right now I'm putting gravel all around the house, and so that fire can't get close to it. I've bought misting kits, right? Put misters all the way around the deck and everything. Try and get everything moist, because what really kills a house in a wildfire is the ember storm. It's like a blizzard of embers. So there are things that I can do. We're going to cut down a lot of trees around the house in the near future to try and mitigate the wildfire risk to our house. And if you go back here to what was I talking about? Oh, Civil War. Okay, well, to mitigate Civil War, we live in the middle of nowhere and not near any important strategic places, and that helps a lot. And if people come, zombies come onto the property, I have my own freedom nuggets. Okay, grid failure. What can we do to mitigate that? Well, we make sure we have solar power. Our battery's at our 100% right now, which is a good thing, even though we had clouds all day yesterday. We have, I know I've shown you on my videos, we have shelf-stable milk. We have powdered milk, that's freeze-dried. We have food supplies. We have, so we're doing everything we can to be able to survive. By next year, I'm hoping to be growing between 80% of our own fruits and vegetables. That's a big chore, but we don't want to rely on the outside world if there's no grid, because people are going to go nuts. If you're in the city, you need to figure out how you're going to get out. All right, and do it before everybody freaks out. Okay, so that's kind of a mental evaluation I've been going through, and it's a way for me not to freak out over certain future scenarios. Here's one. Okay, we'll call this one mushroom clouds. All right. I think with the new administration, probability is way down. I honestly believe that a year ago it was way high, and the outcome is higher than 10. It's probably, you're talking about an extinction level event here. But I have to think about what I can do to mitigate. We're not near any military installations or anything, but I'm sure with the jet stream, we are probably in the fallout and with mushroom cloud scenario, I don't know that we can do a whole lot about it. We're not near any military installations, but I'm sure that if LA goes up, we'll say, the fallout could reach us here, because we're here in Arizona. So that's something that's important. There are some things we can do to maybe get through without becoming unalived from radiation exposure right away. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyhow, just a little tool that I thought I'd bring to you guys, and hopefully you'll be able to start thinking about things yourself. Any other scenarios you could come up with, let me know. We'll have a discussion in the comments. Or if you think your probabilities and outcomes are a lot different on some of these that I've already talked about. We'll discuss it because it's important that we don't freak out, because you can't get anything done if you're paralyzed. Okay? So, all right. I'll see you next time, and we'll get through this.